Hello students of class 10. Today I am here to talk about a lesson titled A Question of Trust. It was written by a British writer by the name of Victor Canning. Victor was born on 16th June 1911 in Plymouth, United Kingdom. He was a prolific British writer of novels and thrillers who flourished in the 1950s, 1960s and 1970s. However, his reputation faded since his death in 1986. Let us see how the story unfolds by watching this video. So once there lived a respectable and honest man of 50 years who was a bachelor. He lived with a housekeeper who was worried over his health since he suffered from hay fever during summer months. Now for those who may ask what hay fever is. Hay fever is an allergy caused by pollen or dust in which the numerous membranes of the eyes and nose are inflamed, causing running nose and watery eyes. Anyways, Horace earned a living by making locks and he had 2 helpers working under him. However, behind Horace's innocent face lied a colorful past and not so honest man, because 15 years ago he had served his first and only sentence in a prison library. Horace was a bibliophile, meaning someone who loves books and reading. But his love lied not in ordinary books, but rather rare and expensive ones. So every year he robbed a safe and secretly bought books from an agent with that money. It was a bright July month and he knew that now time had come for him to rob another safe since 3 books were coming up for sale this autumn. Hence, he had been carefully studying the house at Shotover Grange, and that particular day the 2 servants of the Grange residency had gone for movies while the family of Grange were in London. Hence that day, as he saw the servants leave, he set towards the house from behind the garden with his bag full of essential goods. There was about £15,000 worth of jewels in the safe, which after selling would fetch him at least £5,000, an amount that was good enough to make him happy for another year. He had seen the housekeeper hang the keys to the kitchen door on a hook outside, so he put on gloves, took the keys and entered the house. He was smart enough not to leave any footprints. As he entered the house, he saw Sherry the dog and called out its name in a friendly way, for he knew that in order to keep dogs quiet, you had to call it by its name. The safe was in the drawing room behind a painting, and for a moment Horace wondered if he should collect paintings instead of books. But knowing paintings would take a lot of space, he felt books were better. Now you must be wondering how Horace knew the inside of the house so well. Once a magazine article had described the house, giving a detailed plan of the house, and had even mentioned that behind the painting lay the safe. Now that was a very foolish thing for the owner to do, giving away details like that. Anyways, since there was a great bowl of flowers, he sneezed. He put his bag of tools on the floor and arranged it. He had 4 hours before the servants returned. So he first went to the hall and cut the wires of the burglar alarm. Horace was finding the flowers annoying as it seemed to hinder him in his work. He then buried his face in his handkerchief and then heard someone ask him what it was, a cold or hay fever. Before he could think, he said hay fever and sneezed again. The voice then advised him to go and see a doctor. The voice was kind but firm. On looking towards the doorway, he saw a young, pretty woman dressed in red, and she said that she was the owner who had come just a few days back. Horace was surprised, but knew that if he didn't want trouble, then he should treat her the right way. She asked him what he was going to do since she had seen him, to which he replied that his first thought was to run away. She then said that if he does that, she would call the police and have him arrested. He replied saying he would first cut the telephone wire and then run away, to which she questioned him if he would hurt her. Horace replied saying he was just trying to frighten her, and then she said she wasn't frightened at all. Horace then requested her to forget him and let her go, to which she replied sharply that she wouldn't allow him to run away and rob someone else. She said that she would protect the society from people like him. Horace smiled and said that he stole only from the rich, and that too for a good reason, and also that he hated the thought of prison. She laughed as he begged her to let him go and promised never to steal again. She then picked up a box from the table and took out a cigarette from it. Horace quickly removed his gloves and gave her the lighter, thinking she would help him and let him go. She then said that she would allow him to leave on one condition. Before leaving for London, she had promised her husband that she would take her jewels to the bank but had left it in the safe. And she wanted to wear it tonight for a party but had forgotten the numbers of the safe. He agreed to break open the safe, and she gave him the permission to do so and said that she would have it mended later. Horace opened the safe, handed over the jewels to the lady, and left happily. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind lady, but on the 3rd day he decided he had to rob a safe in order to buy books. Sadly, he never got a chance to begin his plan, since by noon a policeman arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints were found all over the place since he had opened the safe without gloves on. When he told the police that the house owner had asked him to do so, the lady of the house, an old grey-haired, sharp-tongued lady of 60, said that the story was a nonsense. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison, and he often thinks of the lady who outsmarted him. He therefore gets angry whenever anyone talks about honor among thieves. Honor among thieves is a proverb which means that criminals observe a moral code and that thieves will not steal from each other. Hence, the moral of the story is that we should not trust anyone without finding out about that person. The lady in the house pretended to be the owner, and Horace trusted her words. She was a thief too, but Horace did not suspect her. So with this we come to the end of this story. I hope you all enjoyed it. In case you all have any issues with any part of the story, please feel free to message or call me. Thank you. Have a good day.